Hello and welcome at last to Shadow of the Erdtree. The DLC is out and people are finally diving in, but thanks to Bandai and FromSoft, we've been able to play a little early. With that, I wanted to make a quick guide on how to get strong in this DLC and fast because it is very hard. Naturally, this is going to be a bit different to a new character and a new playthrough though. By the time you start this DLC, you're going to be close to level 150 with a fully upgraded weapon and a build you're happy with. So this is how to transition into the DLC with a strong setup to create a new build, should you want to, maybe from the 100+ new weapons that are in there. A quick guide to how to reach level 5 for your Shadow Realm Blessing. I'll also show you the exact location of a bunch of new weapon types, where to get an easy larval tier to prep a respec with that in mind. Even this new armor set, the one I'm wearing right now, and all of this is going to be story spoiler free to avoid showing you anything major. In fact, I'll be avoiding zooming out on my map to avoid showing you anything more than the first map fragment that we all start with, so you can rest easy. So let's get started. Let's start this with a quick overview of the level 5 blessings, both sides of that coin. When you go to Grace, you can see the new option of Shadow Realm Blessing, and here you can see the current levels that you have. You see how I have level 5 on Scadutree Blessing, but also level 5 on Revered Spirit Ash Blessing. To start this, you're just going to need one Scadutree fragment to empower it, but as you can see, it scales to 2. And this happens as well with the Spirit Ash Blessings, where at this point I need 3 of the Spirit Ashes to empower the next blessing. If you're worried that it's going to be permanent and you don't want to make things too easy, don't. It's our understanding that you can get 20 levels of these blessings, and 5 is far from what you'll be expected to need. So to open the game in the first area with 5 levels, make it all smoother, I think that's fine. So here are the locations. We begin the game at the Gravesite Plain. The fastest way to get your first view is actually not to go north as you might expect, but to go east to the Church of Consolation. When you step in here, you're going to find not 1, but 2 fragments to get you started, which is really nice. After that, we can head north through the Scorched Ruins and bring ourselves to the first Miquella Cross. We'll find a couple of NPCs and another fragment to get going. At this point, you can head west and go through the passage that leads uphill. You will find the next cross that easy and another NPC will be found. Again, at this cross, like most crosses, you'll find another fragment. Now, instead of progressing up into the actual Ballarat Keep, you're going to turn around and head south along the edge of the cliff here that, as you can see, will slowly lead up, revealing a plateau above the starting area. At the entrance, you'll find this grace, the Cliff Road Terminus, and by heading southwest, you will find our next fragment, which is just west of an area called the Prospect Town. Okay, with those fragments achieved, let's go back to the first cross again. This time, we're going to go northeast and cross over this massive Great Bridge. And on the other side, we're going to find this camp with a grace in the center of it called Castle Front. Just next to that grace, you'll also find a statue of Marika, which, yep, has the next fragment at it. Next, we're going to head into the keep and work our way through it. Roughly halfway through the keep, you're going to find another Miquella Cross and therefore another fragment. Okay, we just got one more fragment to get. So from the castle front, we're going to head up this path leading higher and higher to the southeast. But almost as we continue up the hill, we're going to branch off just around this to the side where we're going to find a hidden cross and another NPC and another fragment. With that, you'll have 8 total fragments, which is the exact number that you're going to need to get to level 5 on your Scadutree Blessing. Next up then for you Shadow Realm Blessing, we obviously have the Revered Spirit Ash Blessings at level 5. You actually need less of these to start with, but you can see how it begins to scale to need 3 to empower at level 5, so it does start to get expensive. From the starting point of the Gravesite Plains, the first grace, once again, we're going to head just northeast, just east of the Scorched Ruins. On this cliff edge, you're going to find this first mysterious statue where you kind of find these ashes in general. So that's our first one. You can get the first upgrade like that. Next, we're going to head northwest to the first cross, which leads us a little bit north to the Great Bridge North Grace. Here we're in front of a town called the Abandoned Ailing Village, and if you pass through this on the east side, just down on a little plateau, you will find the next Ash Blessing. With that, let's return again to the free path across and work our way west to the Ballarat. Going up and opening the door, in the very first room that you enter, you'll see a very hard to miss statue with more ashes here. In this case, there should be 2. The next one though is further into Ballarat. As you progress through this area, you'll find yourself climbing higher and higher and higher, and just before you come to the stage front grace, you will find a tree, and around the back, kind of looking back over the area you've just kind of climbed up, there will be another statue, another ash to grab. Interestingly, while you're up here right before the stage front and you've just picked up this Ash Blessing, it's important to know that there's a bridge just to the east as you pass through here. There's this specific enemy, a strange guy that holds a pot over his head. And upon killing him, I actually got, yeah, one of the blessings. So you want to make sure you kill him as well. It's my understanding that there's multiple kinds of these pot-wielding guys, and potentially they could even drop scadutree fragments. So if you ever see a guy holding a pot over his head and casting spells running away, hunt him down and kill him, you might just get something very valuable. Now let's return to the main gate cross, which is just outside of Ballarat, and this time again we're going to follow this kind of cliff edge that leads up, eventually leading to the Cliff Road Terminus Grace. And just to the east you've got this kind of pond, and right next to that we have another statue to grab another ash. Finally, we have one more ash location in the first map fragment that I want to show you, and it's this one here. And it's deceptive because for some reason there isn't an underground filter at this time. The reality of this grace here, Elec River Cave, is that it's underground. It's hard for me to show you that with the way that the map's currently working. Fortunately, obviously I know the route. To get down there, what you actually want to do is come to the Castle Front Grace and head along the road east. Right as you're about to continue uphill, you turn more east to look over at the cliff edge. You'll even see this guy just sort of standing there looking down to highlight, oh, there's something going on over here. What you'll find is a kind of a slow, awkward path down to the water below, where if you head southwest, you'll see a cave entrance behind one of those flowers. Pass through the cave and eventually you will come to the Elec River Cave Grace, which obviously on your way right before the Grace, you will find that last ash that we're looking for. And with that, you should have the total amount that we need to upgrade the Shadow Realm Blessing for your Spirit Ashes to level 5. So level 5 in both in the first map fragment, not too bad. Right, so the next topic I want to quickly cover is the idea of upgrade materials, of which you're going to need many. Let's say you come into the DLC with a fully upgraded weapon and now you found something that you want to use instead. There are 2 locations where you can instantly get these max level upgrade stones. So from the 3-path cross, we're going to head northwest to this little lake where I put this diamond symbol. In the center here, you're going to find this kind of undead dragon, a necromancer dragon in fact. This is going to be a theme. You're going to find a bunch of these around the DLC, and every time you kill them, they seem to reward some great rewards, as well as a plus 10 upgrade or max level upgrade. So they're always worth killing when you encounter them, and the first one is right here in that lake. Next, in the starting area, if we come to the Castle Front Grace and head southeast, but instead of going up the road, we go off the road and follow down here, you're going to quickly find this entrance here, the Ruined Forge Lava Intake, which as you progress through, you're going to find tons of pick-upable rocks for, you know, upgrade parts. And by completing the Ruined Forge Lava Intake, at the very end at the altar hidden above where you came in, is another max level upgrade material. So you'll find the dragons and you'll find the forges, and both are going to be great resources for upgrade materials if you want to try a bunch of new weapons at once. Next, you might be interested in the armor set that I'm wearing. This is another thing we can get in the starter area. It's called the Oath Seeker Knight armor, and it's kind of comparable in weight to, say, the Raging Wolf armor. It looks incredible. It's black with the gold embellishments, and you get the full set and even a weapon when you pick it up. To find it, we're going to again start from the 3-path cross and pass through on our way up to Ballarat. Instead of going up there though, again we're going to follow that cliff edge around that leads up to this grace, the Cliff Road Terminus. Then we're going to make our way southeast until we come around to this pathway that leads down on the edge here to this church. You'll fight some enemies as you do this, but on the other side of the Church of Benediction, at the edge of the cliff, right over where we spawned into the DLC, is a body with the full armor set and a weapon, which is the Pater Fist weapon. Just like that, you've got the full armor set. It looks incredible. You can run it if you want to. But also, while you're here, the Church of Benediction, there is a talisman, the Blessed Blue Dew Talisman, which when you equip it, will slowly recover FP passively. So if you spent some FP on a spell or ashes or whatever, and you know that you're not going to use FP for at least, I don't know, 30 seconds, you could pop this talisman on and recover your FP very casually, ready for the next fight when you take it off and put a whatever talisman you actually want back on. Having a tool like that is just useful. Next, we got to talk about the larval tears, which are back and are a very limited respec item. And this is a new one for the DLC specifically, as you can see. I found 3 in the starting or opening areas, but to keep it to the first map tile specifically, I can show you one exact location to get you a free respec, maybe when you find a new weapon and want to reset. So again, we're going to come from the 3-path cross, go across that cliff, or just teleport to the Cliff Road Terminus by now. Where it is southwest of this, on this hill, just east of the Prospect Town. You can even see it from up there. Right next to an NPC called Brood, you will find this kind of blue glowing circle of coffins, and in the center will be the larval tier. So there's an easy respec in the first map fragment. Speaking of weapon types, you might be interested in the new ones like Milady, the light greatsword, or the throwing blades. There is 6 locations in the first map fragment where we can find these new weapon types. So starting from the Scorched Ruins, which is just northeast of the Gravesite Plains, we're going to head northeast to this building here, where we find the backhand blade. Easy. Next, from the starting position of the Gravesite Plain, we're going to head southeast into this wooded forest. Somewhere in the center of that is a wandering naked NPC who will attack you on sight. He has the Beast Claws weapon type, so if you defeat him, you'll get your first ones. Next, for the Great Katana, we're going to head north from the Gravesite Plains all the way again to where I told you about that dragon in the lake. On the ground is just kind of normal item drop. It doesn't seem special. Is your first Great Katana. Straight up. Next, from the 3-path cross, we're going to find the perfume bottle. So head across the bridge and bring yourself to the castle front. Here on this hill is the perfume bottles just waiting to be picked up. Also, we can get the light greatsword here. By crossing the bridge from the castle front towards the castle and working our way uphill, you're going to double back into this large building and climb the tower at the back. At the top of this tower is Milady, our first light greatsword. Lastly, for a weapon type we can easily get in the starting area from the castle front, head southeast, making your way to this cave entrance, the ruined forged lava intake. Follow this through all the way to the bottom, and you'll find this stone golem defending an item, which is indeed your first throwing dagger to use. So just like that, 6 of the new weapon types available, in the first map fragment. Now, if you want to explore the next map fragments, but don't want to take on the major boss of Castle Ensis, maybe it's just hard or you just don't want to do it right now, there is an alternative way to get to the second area very easily. From the castle front, you can head just east and head down like I showed you before. And instead of going through the water and underground, you can progress on, heading instead southeast along the cliff edge. Eventually around here, you're going to find a spirit spring that's not active. Follow that around. On just a level above that is this little stone platform that's kind of blocking the wind. You break that, and then that spirit spring will activate. When we use that, we can climb up higher and higher until we come up to the Fort of Reprimand and a new region and a new map fragment to explore. I believe this is the second map fragment they want you to explore in terms of progression, and you can come here immediately if you want to. But yeah, there you have it. My quick overview of the first map fragment, the first location we start in the DLC, and a bunch of great stuff to make you stronger, make things easier, and hopefully useful information. If you guys have any extra advice or anything you found that you think will be useful to people, let us know in the comments. But until next time, there'll be lots of Shadow the Erdtree coverage coming in the following days. So I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.